We can have your attention. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Steve Hartford. I'm the Director of Operations here at the hospital. Most of you know me. We know each other pretty well. We have a couple of new faces here, so welcome. Welcome to our annual training. I'm going to take Rob's place for the introductory comments. Rob Allen, our CEO, has some other commitments this morning. He was here yesterday and the day before to kick off the training. Kind of an idea that people have, once and future idea of having actual live training. We've been relying on HealthStream for the last couple of years, and a lot of people said let's have some in-person training. Let's maybe go back to that. So trying to mix it up a little bit. It's not any kind of a final decision about exactly where we're going to go in the future. Things are always shifting, as you know, in this industry. So people outside of Alaska are always telling us the right way to do things, and so we try to follow a little bit. We also try to do it our own way. So sit back and relax and do the best you can to give your attention. It's about a 4-hour program, I think. Over the course of the morning and into the early afternoon, we'll take a break midway through, and there'll be some switching of presenters. You're actually going to get some hands-on training during fire safety. We're going to be able to get up and go outside a little bit and to different parts to see some practical training and actually things that you can actually do for fire safety. So as far as an introduction, I know Rob mentioned the last couple of days that we are, some of the major issues that we're facing is our annual budget. As you know, our budget year ends June 30th, and our budget now for the fiscal 17, which starts July 1st, is now due to the city as of this Friday, Friday the 13th, which some people think is unlucky, but hopefully it won't be an unlucky day for us. So the leadership has just about completed the budget. We've got another meeting this afternoon. Come on in. We've got a seat here. There's two here if you'd like. We're actually videotaping this for a staff that can't make it, that haven't been able to make it the last 2 days or couldn't make it today. And did you want a seat? Okay. Oh, good. Okay, excellent. All right. Well, this is the best part. So, so we're finishing our budget, looking actually pretty good. We've got a little. It looks like we're going to have a little more flexibility, hopefully with staffing, hopefully with capital expenditures, and hopefully with compensation too, going into the new year. Nothing specific that I can announce, but I would say it's looking much better this year than it was a year ago when we were putting together a budget. So we're going to present our budget to the board tonight in a special meeting here at 6 o'clock. It'll be the first time they've seen it, although the chairman, Brian Bertacci and Steve Gage, both new board members, have already reviewed the preliminary budget Tuesday night, this past Tuesday, in a finance committee meeting. And that went well, and they actually were very supportive of the work we're doing here in terms of the budget, and we had a good discussion with them. They actually made some recommendations for our budget being a little more aggressive on our revenues, and maybe even doing some more things for our staff. So hopefully we'll have something to announce after tonight's meeting with the board. We don't know how the whole board will embrace it, and also it's got to be approved by the assembly. I think that's going to be, I don't know when the assembly is going to approve it, maybe in another week from tonight. I'm not sure what that date was. It might be the 19th. I don't have that, but it's coming up. So a couple of points on the budget. Last year the final budget called for us actually losing $500,000. So closing the gap from a major loss 2 years ago to a smaller loss in the current year. And our goal was to make that gap even smaller this year. Right now, it looks like we're going to have a break-even budget. So we're actually going to be in the black based on our budget going into the next year. So that's positive news, and it gives us a little more flexibility as well. We're running a little bit behind budget this year, but there's a couple of factors that we can't control about the CMS audit. Once that gets done, we may be actually able to close the gap and have an even smaller loss in the current year. So we're budgeting $500,000. That may end up being even smaller. We may not know that until after we're into the next budget year, how we finish this year, because there was some CMS reimbursement that we've received, but is not final yet until we complete the audit. So once the audit's completed, then we might be able to book that money into revenue for the current year and close that gap, and that would be good news. That sounds concerning that we have a loss, but our cash position, and you've heard this probably in different forums, our cash position is really strong, much stronger than we were a year and a half ago when we sort of went through the crisis at the end of 2014. I'm sure most of you remember that or have heard about it, where we were down to just a few days cash on hand. We were at risk of not being able to make payroll in the following cycle, and the city had to extend a line of credit to us. It had to extend it, I think, an additional $1 million. We had a $500,000 line of credit, and they expanded it to $1.5 million. We actually could pay that money back right now. We have enough cash in the bank to pay that all back now, but we have other, we want to be conservative about it. We've got to get a new EHR system, so that's going to require some capital, although we don't know how much. We've got to complete this CMS audit, so if there's some reimbursement that CMS requires as a result of the audit, we want to have that money in reserve to pay that back. So those are some things that are delaying us paying the city back its money, but we will pay it back. If we don't pay it back this year, it'll probably be paid back in the next budget year. So that's good news, because that's always a little bit of a thing hanging over our heads, that we still owe the city money, and we're looking forward to getting that resolved. And then there's of course the project, the discussions that we're having with SCH. That's kind of on everyone's mind and concerning, produces a little anxiety. Everyone feels it. I certainly feel it. Rob feels it. The city feels it. The residents feel it. The people at SCH feel it too, because they don't know where it's going. But what we ultimately decided was we're going to have a comprehensive look. We're going to have a third-party, independent, unbiased consultant that's experienced in the field that we hired jointly. We've already decided to hire ECG out of Seattle. This is a national company that has worked with hospitals and other healthcare facilities working on integration projects throughout the country. They've worked on a number of different projects, and they understand the business well. They understand rural healthcare. They're going to be looking at a lot of data from Sitka Community. They're going to be looking at a lot of data from Mount Edgecombe Hospital, the same data, the same set of data. They're going to be comparing that data, and they're going to be coming back to the city, to us, to SCH, and making recommendations, looking at a number of alternatives where we can partner. Where are the gaps in services in the community? Where are the overlaps in services? And are there better opportunities for us to partner that would actually enhance the healthcare delivery in Sitka for the residents, but also help us both be more viable in the long run? So, just kind of hold your powder on being overly concerned about that. Just be a little bit more patient. We're just going to try to do a study and look at that study, and then we will talk about more openly amongst the hospital and in the city, what the opportunities may be. There's not going to be any fast moves made. We're going to be as transparent as we possibly can be. I'm actually on the steering committee with Rob Allen and Kay Turner. A lot of our staff is going to be interviewing with the consultants next week, and they're going to be interviewing city assembly members. They're going to be interviewing board members. They're going to be interviewing various staff here. They're going to be interviewing residents in the community. So they'll get a good, I think they get a lot of information about how important Sitka community has been and where people's vision is, if you will, for the future of healthcare in Sitka. So a lot to look forward there, a lot of work to be done. I did want to mention that as part of the team building that we're hoping to have with this training, celebrating International Nurses Day, which just occurred, and celebrating Hospital Week, which is this week. The culmination of that is the picnic after work on Friday. Please make an effort to stop by and say hi to your coworkers, spend a few minutes socializing. Maybe we'll have a hamburger or two over there or a hot dog. It's going to be right here on our campus, right next to the clinic on the other side of the clinic in the parking lot. Friday starting at 4. I think it's going to be 4 to 6. So it'll be right after work. I'll be there, and we're all going to wear our t-shirts, our team t-shirts on Friday. I see some of you have them on today, so look forward to seeing those again on Friday, tomorrow. Okay, so as I said, we should have an interesting morning for you. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. We're going to start with fire safety. Charles is going to make a brief presentation on fire safety, and then Elizabeth is going to talk about waste handling and chemical spills, and then we're going to split up into groups, and we're going to do some hands-on demonstration with regard to fire safety and evacuations. So